Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Questing Guild. I'm your host, Alexander Zabetta, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to share a story from my own personal campaign that I have DM for beforehand. And with me, I have my friend, Justin Rivera.
Hi.
Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very, very good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So we're going to go over the story of the Dragon Coat and how that came about. So real quick to preface this, I was running the Dragon of Ice Pirate Peak, which is a beginner's D&D game. It's meant to be pretty simple, meant to be pretty quick, but with our group, nothing is ever simple. Somehow, some way, you guys always find a way to complicate things in a really fun way, and in a way that I think is like always pretty fun. So we were up on the final mission of the game. You guys had just acquired a dragon sword, and you guys were going to go kill the dragon. Now, tell everybody what your plan was to kill the dragon.
So during this campaign, which I think was maybe 6 weeks, it was a pretty long campaign. Everyone hated the mayor, and no one liked him, and so I thought that it was a good idea to use him as bait to lure out the dragon. And same thing with his mother. We used him them to lure out the dragon and use him as bait, which it didn't really work. All the dragon did was eat the people, but that was the beginning of the story, and then as the campaign continued, it sort of snowballed into something a lot more sinister, if you will.
I think an important part of your plan to use him as bait was the excuse that you gave him in order to lure him to the dragon's lair. What exactly did you tell him to make him walk over to the lair?
So, I had said that so in order to get the dragon slaying sword, we had to go to a cemetery. So then I had told him, I used the power of persuasion, and I told him that at the cemetery we found a scroll, and that said that he and his mother had dragon slaying abilities, and that we didn't slay said dragon. And whenever any question would kept popping up, I'd be like, we found a scroll that said you could do this, and then he'd be like, oh well, what about this? And then I'll be like, we found a scroll so that tells us that you can do that. So, and we found a scroll that said if you kept on asking questions, you're gonna die. So just come with us to go slay this dragon, please. And then he ended up slaying the dragon. Well, he didn't slay the dragon. He got eaten by his dragon after he witnessed his mother get eaten by the dragon. And then me and my two teammates ended up slaying the dragon. I didn't have the dragon sword, so I didn't kill the dragon. But I was there as a bard. I was there for meeting event, and I think I served that pretty well. And then afterwards, we were curious to see if the mayor and his mom were still alive, so we cut the dragon's stomach open, and the mayor was still alive. And of course, he was bitter and angry. But then we had convinced him that his abilities had manifested after he got eaten by the dragon, and his spirit then came up out of the dragon and slayed the dragon. And then after that, he grabbed a shovel and said that he's going to go on an adventure killing all the dragons. And because of that, the town that he was originally the mayor of decided to start a cult around him. And now that cult has expanded and is essentially QAnon, which that's where it is right now.
And it's pretty wild for me as a DM having to figure all that out as you guys are coming up with it. Like I said, this was meant to be a pretty simple adventure. It's written just that you go in, you kill the dragon, and then you get paid. But somehow, some way, you guys found a way to kind of blow it out of proportions in a really fun way, in a really cool way. And you came up with this really creative solution, which not only was the creative solution to the problem that you guys had, it has now opened up the potential for other stories. And the way we run our campaigns is that we all take turns DMing, and it all kind of takes place in the same world. I think what's pretty cool about it is you said, "Hey Alex, can I make a story about the Dragon Coat?" So how about you explain? I mean, we haven't started playing it yet. We're gonna start playing it next week. But how about you explain what your mindset is behind that?
So we had come up with this one day over text message. It was in the morning. Someone had suggested, not Alex, had suggested that we do a world war, like a world war story of this like D&D campaign we have, and we were coming up with like different factions and like different ideas to start and how this war can begin. And we're calling it War Stories, and we plan on compiling it all into one big story at the end when we finish the War Stories. And yeah, so the Dragon Cult, I'm gonna have all my players create characters who are gonna be playing as the Dragon Cult. So we don't have much information on the Dragon Cult. We just know that there is a Dragon Cult. So they're gonna be creating the history of the Dragon Cult as we go. And I had all my players roll, and 3 people are going to become the leaders of the Dragon Cult, and then 3 other people are going to be the mindless cult followers. And we're just going to see how that plays out and what's going to happen there.
It's a very exciting idea, and it just goes to show like the storytelling potential of D&D and like why more people should get onto it, because it's just a way for everybody to explore their own creativity, and to kind of like really like find out like what stories interest them the most and just like do your own thing. I think it's a really excellent idea that you've come up with.
Thank you. Yeah, like as I've been playing D&D, like I also had a lot of misconceptions about D&D, and definitely it's a nerdy game. Like it's very nerdy, but it's also like a great way to connect with friends. Like I found very good friendship and kinship with my friends and my fellow players who we played this, and there are times where we talk for hours and it has nothing to do with D&D, but it's just that D&D gets brought us together, and just this world, there's no limit to what you can do in this world, and there's no type of specific way to play. It's always based on what you want to do and just the type of worlds you can create and all the wild possibilities in the campaign.
So Justin, thank you very much for being on this episode of the Questing Guild. I hope I can have you again in the future to tell some interesting stories. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Questing Guild. Make sure you tune in for the next episode, and until next time, best of luck on your adventures, traveler.